I would like to start with the breakup of the Roman Empire. Unlike earlier conquerors who were after plundering or seizing land, the Romans were really interested in commerce and trade. They were administrators, they built ports, they built roads. The old saying is all roads lead to Rome. The roads were like super highways at the time. They were there for moving Roman legions around quickly, but primarily they were there for commerce. It was goods and trade that moved on the roads. And at its zenith, the Roman Empire extended from the northern England near Scotland down through Spain, France, across Italy into Romania, into through Greece and into Turkey and what was known as Persia or Iraq, Iran, Middle East, Northern Africa. A huge chunk of land, especially when you had to travel on horseback, you know. Um, and um, The breakup of the Roman Empire began in the 4th century. In 326, Constantine was elected to be the new Caesar, the new emperor of Rome. Constantine had been the general of the Roman legions in Europe. And one of the unique things about Constantine was that he was married to a Turkish woman who was a baptized Christian. And at the time, the Christians were being persecuted in Rome. As Constantine was marching back to accept his election, a rival general blocked his path, and it looked like Constantine was outnumbered. And the night before the battle, he claimed to have seen a golden cross in the sky, and he ordered his troops to march under a symbol, Chi-Rho, Greek letters Chi and Rho, which stood for Christ. And they were victorious, and he marched into Rome. And one of the first things he did was he legalized Christianity. He didn't make Christianity the official religion yet, but he legalized it. And this did not sit well with all the pagan priests all across this huge Roman Empire. You had these big temples to all the pagan gods, and the priests who ran those temples, they were very powerful people. And after Christianity was legalized, Christianity increased and paganism declined, and this was not popular with those priests. The second thing that Constantine did that really upset the establishment in Rome was he announced that he was moving the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome to a new city that he was building, a city that would be called Constantinople. And Constantinople is now Istanbul in Turkey. It sits on the Bosphorus Straits, a narrow waterway that separates Europe from Asia. And so what Constantine was doing was he was totally reorienting the Roman Empire. Having fought up in Europe for a decade, he was convinced that there was very little wealth in Europe. It was cold, it was barbarous, there wasn't a whole lot to be gained there. All the wealth was in the East. And so Christianity was seen as an Eastern religion. It was an offshoot of Judaism. And now he wants to move the capital of the Roman Empire to Constantinople. And this was just too much for the Roman establishment. And the empire split in half. So you now had two Roman empires. You had the Western Roman Empire in Rome, and you had the Eastern Roman Empire in Constantinople. And you had two Caesars. Now the Roman Empire quickly fell into disarray. In The Western Roman Empire quickly fell into disarray. In 476, Rome was sacked by the Vandals, and it would never regain its glory, its power. The Eastern Roman Empire in Constantinople continued to exist for another 1,000 years. So you had two religions. You had the Catholic Church out of Rome, but you had the Orthodox Church out of Constantinople in the east. The Eastern Roman Empire is also known as Byzantium or the Byzantine Empire. They used the Greek alphabet, the Cyrillic alphabet. The Roman alphabet was used throughout Western Europe. And you kind of see the divide even today in the alphabets that they use and in the churches. Um, now Constantinople ultimately would fall to the Ottoman Turks. Constantinople ultimately fell to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. So it existed 1,000 years after the Rome fell to the Vandals. And even after the Constantinople fell, the leadership, the church and the political leadership, shifted up to Moscow. And the czars in Russia, czar is a version of Caesar, could trace their lineage back through the Eastern Roman Empire all the way to when the Roman Empire was united. And so, in a sense, in Russia they would claim that the Roman Empire existed up until 1917. Um, now, hi, my name is Mike Kurth, and today we're going to cover the medieval guild system. This is a system that existed for 1,000 years, from approximately the 5th century until the 15th century, and the remnants of the guild system are still with us today in the form of our modern trade unions, in many of our professional organizations, such as education, medicine, the law. What we're going to focus on as we cover the guild system is the various markets for the 4 factors of production. And these factors are land, labor, capital, and technology. Without these, no production can take place.